Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Kirk debates a Muslim. I'm your favorite Zionist prince. Let's get right into it. To all the traveling clad here.
Hey, what's up, Chart? I was gonna ask you, you think that Israel should displace the Palestinians from Palestine to Egypt and Jordan?
It's a tough question. I will say this, guys. I'm happy to do the whole afternoon on Israel, but let's try to get at other questions. But
That's what I'm. That's
I'm
what
not
here.
blaming you. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
saying to the audience.
Yeah.
It's a difficult question. I don't
Sure.
know what the solution is. I don't.
So you think it's right for them to
I'm not
ethnically
saying it's
cleanse
right.
them?
I'm saying the solution is very difficult because the people of Gaza have shown that they are incapable of self-government.
Sure.
Incapable. That
Yeah.
when they are given self-government, it becomes a terrorist hotbed, and it becomes a nightmare for the Jewish people, and war ensues. So I don't know what the...
Right. But my question here is, do you think it's ethnic cleansing to forcibly tell them to get out of Gaza?
Again, I'm not even saying I
Because
support it.
this is what Trump said.
I know what Trump said. I'm not
Yeah.
even saying that I think that's a good idea. I do want someone to tell me what the solution is, though. Because that's an idea.
Yes, Egypt actually offered the solution, but Trump actually was against it.
What would you say the solution is?
The solution is to have an Arab state to govern them, basically, and for Hamas not to be in control. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So we had something close to that, though, for years, where Gaza was controlled by Hamas. Gaza democratically elected Hamas.
In 2006, that's correct.
Yeah,
But they
and-
weren't able to democratically elect again after 2006. That's correct.
Because the people liked it.
It's not because people liked it. It's because they didn't have any other choice but to
We
do
don't
that.
know. You might be right. I might be right. I
Okay.
think I'm right. Let me tell you why.
Okay, why?
Because when the terrorists went and killed a bunch of Jews on October 7th,
Yes, I know that a lot of people were happy to see.
lot.
Yes,
Tens
and
of
why? Why
thousands.
is that? Why is that? Because it didn't start on October 7th. It didn't start on October 7th.
Yeah, but this is where we're going to disagree.
Okay.
So I look at things in the term of right and wrong,
Sure.
and just and unjust, not oppressor or oppressed. A different worldview that could be on the left, not saying you are, would say, hey, the people of Gaza.
Yeah, I voted for Trump, by the way.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. For sure, great. We just might not agree on this issue. The people of Gaza, some people would say, hey, it's been a bubbling up problem. We're going to justify what's happening on October 7th. We look at that and we say it's never acceptable to go and kidnap and to go cut throats, unprovoked, unprompted.
Sure,
on a holy
it's
day.
against international law, and
Yeah.
I believe that Israel as well, like where they did a lot of things that were against international law as well.
Well, I don't quite know what that would mean, but yeah, I mean,
War crimes,
such as.
mass people.
Yeah, man, it's just, again, I don't want to keep going in circles, but it's like, I can't see a single instance of Israel going out of its way to kill civilians.
You don't see it in a single instance of what?
Israel going out of its way to kill civilians. I see Israel going out of its way.
So you don't believe what they've done is genocide?
No, of course not. Because, all right, let's get our terms. Let's just go, what is genocide?
A genocide is mass. A certain group.
Bro, look how tired this king is. I gotta pause, but look how tired Charlie is. He's like, bro, another fucking stupid ass college student telling me that he thinks you know what a genocide is, and he's just sitting there like, oh my god, brother, come on. So much respect for him continuously doing this.
Because of their ethnicity, race, or culture or religion.
So was October 7th a genocide?
It wasn't a genocide, no.
By your own
Well,
definition,
right,
it
yeah,
was.
let me tell you why. Because the ICJ now is investigating Israel. They're not investigating Hamas for genocide, if you know that.
Who?
The ICJ?
Yeah, the ICJ is anti-Israel, has been for a while.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, they are. Why do you say that?
Well, because they're funded largely by
They're
Arab
funded by who?
monarchies.
Funded by who? Hamas?
Like by Qatar and Saudi Arabia and by very wealthy Gulf dictatorships.
So
Hold on. You're trying to say that Hamas was not investigated for what happened on October 7th?
Hamas is not being investigated by the ICJ of doing a genocide. Yes, that is correct.
Have you watched the videos?
I have watched the videos.
And
Yeah,
what
that
do
is
you-
correct. I feel like
you
it's
saw
I
the-
think
did you see
Hamas-
the one
I
where
think
the-
Hamas-
And
Okay.
when they were laughing, you saw that one?
Sure. I think Hamas, what they've done was barbarism. I think they're
How
a
is it not
terrorist
a
group.
war crime then?
I think Hamas is a terrorist group. I really think they are. But that doesn't justify what Israel has done so far. That's all I'm saying.
Well, again, there's two separate
This guy looks
things,
like he has rabies.
Everything Israel did was
As of what October 7th, you believe that the Mossad, for example, is one of the biggest agencies in the world. It might be even better than the CIA, right?
Yes and no. I don't think they're nearly as effective as people think they are, and I can prove it to you. But
let me just prove my point, please. So what I'm trying to say here is that basically the Mossad knew about the attack from Hamas because they only had like Chinese bicycles, bikes and stuff like that to go in. So what I think is that basically the Mossad they knew about this attack because Hamas basically is Israel's biggest asset. If Hamas wasn't there, they would have not killed anybody. So I think
I just want to make sure I understand your argument. There's one part of the argument is asking, did Israel know? And was there a stand down order? I asked that question, never gotten an answer. You're going a step further.
We don't have proof. We don't have proof
and
that they knew.
hypothesizing that the Mossad, which is their CIA, wanted it to happen.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's insane.
Why do you think it's insane?
So you think that Mossad, which are Jews, wanted 1,300 Jews to die?
They didn't know that 1,300 people would die, but they wanted to see something so that they can be able to actually attack Palestine.
Got it. So we're just not going to agree because you have a much lower view of Jewish people than I do.
No, I believe in Israel's right to exist too.
No, I know, but what you're saying is that the Jewish leadership of Mossad wanted the Hamas to attack.
Yes, because what I'm trying to tell you is that they had homemade drones too. Hamas had homemade drones that they used. Okay, so how were they not able to see all of that happening? Is all I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, first of all, part of it is a legitimate question, but getting to as far as saying that must be the case, it's a big leap. It was a holy day,
Sure.
right, which is very important. It was Shabbat,
Sure.
which is, 90% of IDF troops aren't there. But let me just kind of close on a moral question. Point, then a question. Number one, Hamas did not go after military targets.
Yes,
They
they
went
did go
after civilian targets.
That's correct.
Inexcusable. Number two, though,
That's what they were able to put their hands on.
let me ask you a question. Who do you think there's a good guy or a bad guy in the equation of Israel versus Hamas?
As of who?
I'm asking, which one do you think is good, bad, better, or worse?
I think Hamas is bad. I think what the Israel government is doing is bad as well. That's why we don't have an
Got
agreement.
it. So let
That's
me
why we
ask
don't
you
have
just a
Go ahead.
hypothetical, and I don't mean to be interruptive.
Sure.
What should Israel have done in response to 1,300 people in the most horrendous way?
To target Hamas members in a better way, to not mass
What is a
kill
better
people.
way? Explain what that looks
Well,
like.
Please.
there's a reason why they have special forces. There was a reason why they have the
used
best
them.
military. There's a reason
They
why they
used
have the
them.
best military equipment in the world so that they'll be able to target Hamas.
We've been
members.
using it, and we used
Yeah,
our
but they
special
did
forces.
all of that, and so I never get a concrete answer. So what I just want is I'm not going to defend everything that every IDF soldier ever did, but I find it so interesting that everything that Israel does gets so hyper-examined through this lens that no other country ever gets held to the standard of, ever.
Nobody does anything like Israel. With Palestine, yeah.
You believe that no other country does what Israel does?
With Palestine, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Who else? Tell me.
You think that no? I want you to just pause. You think that from the African civil
Has
wars?
Has anybody done anything worse to the Palestinians more than Israel?
Yeah, a lot of people have actually, like
Okay,
the
like
internment camps throughout China for the Uyghur Muslims, or the North Korean open-air concentration camps.
Well, basically, they didn't commit genocide.
It's,
They didn't want
but-
ethnic
but
cleansing.
let me just close with this.
Right.
And this is not your. What's your name?
Yusuf.
Yusuf. This is not your fault, but it is an intentional provocation, and I find it to be repulsive. Not you, but generally, the overuse of the word genocide. Because when you keep on using genocide, you're basically trying to cheapen actual genocides that have happened
Yep.
the last 100 years.
Why would I have to cheapen it? I still believe that there are other genocides that happen too.
So you think
so you think if I
but
say that
I
it's
mean,
a genocide,
I just want to make sure I understand this. You think that Israel's intentionally trying to kill as many people of Gaza as possible?
Yes.
Well, they're not doing a great job of it because the population keeps on going up.
Well, yeah,
There's a lot of talk about what's happening in Israel right now. Hostages being released, terrorists resurfacing.
I'm gonna translate for Charlie Kirk. Sir, you're an idiot. We'll get back into it now.
Well, they're not doing a great job of it because the population keeps on going up.
Well, yeah, they 50,000 so far.
No, not even.
Since October 7th.
Maybe 20,000.
No.
But again,
how did you get your information? What 20,000? What?
well, it's again.
You want to fact
again,
check me? You want to fact check?
You're getting too combative. I don't
No,
trust
no,
any of
not
the
at
I
all.
don't trust any of the numbers of the international community.
Okay, sure.
But if it was really their goal to kill as many people of Gaza as possible, why doesn't Israel just bomb and kill them all right now?
Because basically all the world is going to be totally against it, which they are, but it gets to a point. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, how you want to say that? Why wouldn't they just nuke Gaza? Is what you're trying to say?
Because they actually have tried. They have done their best to. So here's some facts.
They wouldn't be able to justify
They drop
that.
leaflets before they bomb. They do medical emergency surgeries for people of Gaza every single day, all throughout Israel. They are saving people's lives of Gaza every day.
And they bomb churches too. Do you know that?
Yeah, and I actually spoke out against it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. One time you've said that the Jews have never been ruled peacefully under the Arab rule.
Well, I asked for an example of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are a couple.
Okay, I think the Jews in this audience wouldn't trust Muslims to govern them.
I'm saying in the Ottoman Empire.
You trust Muslims to govern you?
I'm saying in the Ottoman Empire, Al-Andalus Empire from the.
I would not point to the Ottoman Empire
please
as being a beacon of peace.
Please. I'm saying that Al-Andalus from the 8th to the 12th centuries, they say 4 centuries. They say 4 centuries in peace. It was actually called the Golden Age of the Jews. Did you know that, Charlie?
Well, actually, the Jews were in exile during that time, weren't they? Weren't they in Babylonia, and that's when the Babylonian Talmud was written?
When Al-Andalus took control, they basically welcomed the Jews for 4 centuries. You can look it up.
Yeah, but they were not in Israel, were they?
Not in Israel, but
so
you're
how could
asking me.
No. How could it be the golden age of the Jews if they weren't in Israel?
That's what they called it. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, that's what the Muslims called it.
No. Listen,
Exactly.
Listen, because what you said is basically that they never lived in peace under the Arab rule.
I asked a question. I said, can you point to an example?
I just pointed it out to you right now.
I find it to be completely lackluster. It's just not true. But
was there no peace to the Jews in Al-Andalus Empire? Is what you're trying to say?
There was peace for very few years, and then most of the time, you guys abused the shit out of us.
No, again, I don't want to go back into like 8th century history.
That's
with
what
our
you
time.
asked. You asked a broad question.
I didn't
so
ask you. That was a video like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
but I would not say the Ottoman Empire was an example of peace. But I just want to be. If Israel laid down all of its weapons, what would happen?
If Israel would lay down all of its weapons, I've heard what you said. You said that basically that Hamas members will basically take control of Israel.
Or the Arab world would, right?
The Arab world wouldn't. Why would the Arab world would?
Why did they do it on the 6-Day War? Why would they do it on the Yom Kippur War?
The 6-Day War. You talk about the 6-Day War when Israel basically attacked Egypt?
No, they were attacked and provoked by. I mean, it's like let me just pause. I want to get to another question, but I have to say something, and this is what's disappointing. It's okay. He's coming in good faith. I have never been more pessimistic that this problem will ever be solved. Not because of you, but because there's just two different realities when it comes to this, and you cannot solve a problem when one side has a completely different telling of history than the other side. And that's fine. I'm not trying to attack you.
What I'm saying about history is wrong.
Yes.
Yes, but I don't want to.
You're an idiot.
But more important.
Though?
Again, more importantly than that, is that the other side has a completely different view of it. So I don't even know how we can reconcile this.
There are extremists on both sides. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, that's the problem. There might be.
For me personally, I'm Arab, and I still believe in Israel's right to exist. But
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. I say there's extremists on the Israeli side. I think all of Hamas is extreme. So I don't even want to say we're going to agree to disagree. I don't even know what planet you're coming from for this stuff. I think that I just say that.
For what stuff you think? What
all of it? Just the idea that you would even entertain the idea that Jews could live peacefully under Muslims, that you're looking at a two-state solution. It's fine. I'm not trying to criticize you. I just don't. Do you think that? In which country is that looks more like American values, Israel or the Palestinian Authority?
I think Israel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you say a two-state solution. What in conclusion would that look like?
That would conclude that the Palestine would have the right to exist, and they would have the right to govern themselves, and
why can't they be part of Jordan?
Why would they be a part of Jordan?
What is the national identity of Palestine? Educate me.
Palestinians.
What is that?
Like, what do you mean?
That's the question, Charlie.
Are they?
Arabs?
Okay, so all Arabs are Palestinians?
No, but they are Arabs. What you trying to say? What is your point?
I'm trying to say, because at what point does somebody become a Palestinian?
When he was born in Palestine, or if his parents are Palestinians?
Again, this is why we're talking past each other.
What you trying to say?
I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine have the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. Show me where it is. It's a non-existent place.
Okay, yeah, I don't think we're gonna.
That's why
agree
we're on
that.
different planets, right? So, here, in closing with this, I find it very hard to sympathize at all with a group that decided to attack another civilian force of babies and girls and go to a concert and keep them as hostages and then play the victim. Instead of playing the victim, they never should have attacked Israel in the first place.
October 7th? You're talking about October 7th?
Of course I am.
But
yeah.
it didn't start on October 7th. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You see, we have a
Did you read
different
about the
reading of
2021
things.
war, 2014?
Yes, of course there were little skirmishes, but
Skirmishes.
nothing.
There weren't skirmishes.
They elevated this to such a level. They invited the Israel response to a level. They knew what was going to happen. And now they're complaining about it. I'm sorry.
I believe what Hamas did was wrong. I believe what Hamas did was wrong, and they were expecting.
I'm not going to listen to
your.
your complaints when you go and mask civilians and women. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Charlie lays down the law again. What can I say? I mean, this guy's a fucking idiot. and I wish I could be more regal with how I carry myself when I talk about these people, like the way Charlie does, but I can't. This guy's a fucking idiot. He's stupid. He's a dumbass. There's nothing left to say. It's complete brain rot. But what it is, it's Arabism. Because that guy, I don't know where he's from. He could be Omani, but he's probably not even a real Arab. His country or his people were probably colonized by the Arabs violently, and he's forced to believe that he's an Arab. So he buys into all the Arab propaganda. We reacted to other Charlie Kirk clips where basically it's been Arabized people who are pretending like the Arab world gives a shit about them. The Arab world doesn't care about you. The Arab world cares about controlling you and your money. That's what they care about. That's it. They don't care about you. They don't care about the Palestinians. They don't care about this war. They care about controlling you and the narrative. They care about political power. You need to escape the clutches of the Arab world, sir. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel. And you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.